last time we played this game, I cried myself to sleep after it. Okay, Marion, let's get right into it. We're not going to talk about last time, we're just going to pretend that never happened. It isn't often that I think about drinking on the job. Yeah, I already read this last time. Let me just, speaking of drinking, let me just go. Take a sip of soda. Because, after last episode, I just want to die. Okay. Oh, that was bad. Okay. Not good. But after meeting with the Wrights yesterday, really makes me want to break my self-imposed rules. First off, fucking damn whiskey was fucking damn Mr. Wright. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that. How long into the video are we? I'm cooked. To top it all off, they had somehow forgotten to inform me that they didn't own the Ermengarde mansion yet when they hired me. What sort of person does that?
Rich people.
Ah, too loud. My bad. I could do nothing but twiddle my thumbs at this. However, twiddle my thumbs and wait for the go signal. It's not like I can accept other smaller projects. This is a big job and I shouldn't be ready to start on it at any time. Not to mention that my PA practically begged me to be patient and wait this out. It was a hard decision to agree, but I did so in the end. Besides, I'm doing this for the Ermengarde mansion, not for anything or anyone else. I'd have a headache whatever I do anyway. I'd go to the pub again, but seeing what happened a few days ago, I'd rather not end up in bed with another potential client. But it might be a huge leap in logic, but a library is the next best thing after the pub. I have to go there anyway. I need more books for Dad. Plus, I also need to return the ones I borrowed last time. Finding a new book or two to read for myself while I have nothing to do isn't such a bad idea either. So on a Saturday morning, I find myself going to the only library in Luxembourg to hopefully cool off. After returning an Urzuli and a poetry book by Henry of Brady, I don't know. I asked the librarian about the several titles on my list, though I don't have much time to much luck on that front. Dialogue with Death has already been snatched, and she bluntly said she did not keep our mathematical universe for someone who didn't return books on time. I make headway at least when I ask about Siege and rendition of Havana by Jacob D. Pozzella. If you count her snarling and pointing at the history section as headway, that is. The history section is devoid of any other except for myself and a redhead. Though I'd wager a guess that Red's just passing by to get the classical literature section. So many books, so little time. Scanning the books and seeing so many wonderful titles give me great pleasure. And that's my spot.
Hello, sailor. Why don't you come to Mama?
If it's not the naval battle book I was looking for. No, it's even better. The newly acquired History of Luxembourg Architecture, first edition too. I know, I just have to get it. I've been waiting to get my hands on the book for so long. The fact that there's only one copy proves to be a problem, though. When Red reaches out for it at the same time as I do.
I think I had this first, miss.
BECCA! I'm tweaking. Shit, I think I tweaked too hard. BECCA was good. Wait, Red? Why is BECCA named Red? Hold on, I'll be back. Yes, hello, 911. Yeah, BECCA is named Red. Mm-hmm. Inform Marianne that you are in love with BECCA and that isn't okay. Alright, I'm in love with BECCA. Marianne, I mean, what? Don't hate on my Pookie! I can only stare her down when she refuses to let go of the book. Refusing to let go of it as well, I raised a brow at her in the hopes that the fact that I was significantly taller than her would intimidate the girl. Even then she refused with a rebellious look.
This isn't exactly light reading, miss. I mean, do you even know which architect was at the forefront of 18th century Irish architecture?
She's actually a history teacher, so I think she does. A beat. She winks and I can't help the smirk on my face. Which is wiped off when she opens her mouth. Yep.
Edward Lovett Pierce, who established the Palladian style through his work with Castletown House and Irish Houses of Parliament. This bridge was destroyed in this year to delay French troops while under the regency of Mary of Guise.
This is not what I was expecting. She's a history teacher. Let's be honest, how many people would know these history facts? BECCA, a history teacher? Aside from me, anyway.
Going right to the obscure ones, aren't you? Easy enough. Tullybody Old Bridge in Clackmannanshire, Scotland, on the January of 1560, if we want to be specific.
Suddenly it's a game where we throw these history questions and facts at each other back and forth of hushed tones unless we want to be thrown out of the library. After a while it goes from strange conversation into the strange but friendly banter, if it could be called that. But as fun as it is, the exchange soon slows down until we're grinning at how odd this whole scene is.
Marianne McCulloch, my desire for potatoes doesn't quite match what the stereotypes suggest.
Rebecca Gales, the Scots' supposed hatred for the English wasn't enough to stop me from teaching their little spawns.
But then we had forgotten about our little tug-of-war, although she still holds the book in her hands. I had let go of it without realizing when she answered my first question.
History teacher, then?
Got it in one.
No wonder you gave me a run for my money. Now, if we're talking about architecture, I'd blow you out of the water. You're from where? Luxburn Uni?
Oh no, just St. Goretti's.
Ah yes, St. Goretti. You'd think a school would choose a more appropriate saint to name themselves after, especially when they have very young students.
And I'm guessing you're an architect, if you're so confident about the subject.
Interior designer, Miss Gales.
Please, just call me Rebecca. You aren't one of my students, are you?
Marianne, then.
I could have said that I was an architect, but there's no point in explaining why I wasn't one anymore.
So, I've never seen you before. I'd like to think I've met every history aficionado in town.
I blame the rock I've been hiding under, of course. That, and I'm usually only here on the weekdays if time allows. Work often has me meeting clients on the weekends.
That must be interesting work.
It allows for some creative freedom, sure. But it's like working with children sometimes. Though you probably have it harder working with actual children. The hardest part is convincing them that your idea is their idea.
That sounds exciting.
It is!
But isn't that true for any workplace, though? We just cross our fingers and hope there aren't any man-children in charge of important things. Any big projects right now? I can't imagine that interior designing is a frequent thing.
I'm working on the Ermengarde mansion. Lucky me. That mansion. Intach. Wonderful. Breathtaking. I can't wait to start in it. Now that is beautiful architecture.
A pause. It looks like she wants to say something that my mention of the house. I'm not surprised. That place is certainly popular with the locals, especially with the urban legends attached to it. Bro, it's just the fact that I've played most of these now. It's like it's the same thing every time. But in the next second, though, she seems to think better of it and drops what she's about to say.
So, do you have a portfolio or anything I can take a look at? I'd love to see your designs. Maybe you have some on a tablet. I've met some designers before, and they're always going crazy over these virtual room apps or another.
A tablet? Please. Callicrates didn't need those silly iTabs when he built the Parthenon. I certainly don't need one to design a house.
The computer back at my place is all I have. Why should I buy such an expensive gadget? I'll just get outdated within the year when what I have is just as functional. The traditional ways had a far more personal touch, in my opinion. Not to mention those smartphones are awful tools of procrastination. I won't even count on one hand the number of people I see going outside only have their eyes glued to the things. and F touchscreens. They're evil things that make typing what should have been a simple task harder.
I do have an online portfolio if you'd like. I can...
Speaking or thinking of the devil seems to have summoned it. Before I can even carry on, Rebecca's attention wanes as she pulls out her mobile. What I can only assume is a call. She gives me an apologetic look before she's standing up and excusing herself off further the aisle she goes for some privacy. My best to give it to her as well, trying to tune her out.
Belle, is something wrong? Lunch at the coffee house? Sure, I can make it. I'm not too far. I can be there in 10.
With how quiet the surrounding is, she can't blame me if other snippets of I overhear over snippets of her conversation. When she returns with a sheepish look on her face, I know that our friendly chat has to be cut short.
Sorry, I have to go and meet with some friends.
It's fine. Totally fine. No need to even apologize.
About the book.
Her embarrassment increases twofold when she realizes she's still holding on to history of Luxembourg architecture. I don't go trying to think about it as I put my hand up and shake my head, fishing out a pen and paper from my bag along with one of my business cards. I hand them over to her.
You know, I'm busy with work, so I might not even be able to take a peek at it anytime soon. You can go ahead and have it. But you'll have to ring me up when you're returning it just so I can snag it right away. Deal?
She makes quick work, penning her number down, handing it back to me with a grin.
Deal. Just message me during school hours, of course. You have a good day then.
You too.
With Rebecca gone, I'm left alone standing in the history section. Although my wisdom plans were simply to start out and read a good book. Our little pop quiz, if you call it that, made the time fast by without any of us even realizing it. It was fun, and I do believe I made a new friend. Good job, Marianne. Even with the talk of lunch, however, I don't feel like grabbing a bite to eat. There are still other books to read here, and I'm hoping to find something that will help me while I work with the rights. Something like How to Deal with Arseholes Professionally 101, just in case. I dealt with a lot of uppity, snooty, and rich clients before, but it's still better to be safe than sorry. Because Luke Wright just takes the effing cake. He probably manages to eat it too. It seems the world is conspiring to keep me from my me time as my mobile vibrates in my pockets the moment I find something for the shelves of the classic literature section.
Marianne McCulloch, Charlie Rose Design speaking.
Oh, there's Rose.
Rose Cooper here, Miss McCullough. I hope I didn't catch you at a bad time or anything. But I just wanted to check in and tell you that we've got the clear to hand over the documents. Madam Wright told us that we should forward the floor plans to you.
Already? How did they go through the process so fast? Surely there's so many red tape to even acquire the forms and transferring of rights. No matter how rich the rights are, it shouldn't be this quick, right?
So, if I can just have your email, I'll be sending them your way.
I'd actually like a physical copy of the floor plans.
Oh, I suppose that's fine. I'm not at the office right now, but I can inform Miss Santos of your request.
You mean... Bella? Isabella Santos.
I'll make sure to drop by the office after lunch if that's fine.
Not a problem. Right. Well, cheers.
Right. Cheers.
I don't know, I just don't... Is there some sort of deeper miscommunication when we last met? These things take time. It's been, what, a day? Less than that even. There isn't even a point in trying to make sense of these people who seem to be larger than life. As it looks like I'm on the clock starting today, I might as well eat. Yeah, and I need to take a drink. I really need another drink. I don't... When I'm recording, I usually don't take a lot of time. You just pause, take a sip of my drink. And really, just... I was just sitting there recording. And it does get tiring after a while. But I am going to try to make this video a longer one, because as you guys know, that last one was not long at all. Grabbing some fish and chips from one of the street food stalls, I find a table to spend some time with a copy of Marquis de Sade's The Crime of Love. Since Rebecca left with the book I wanted. I read this one before, along with the rest of his works. This would be the 18th time, in fact. But it's always nice to read through it again, when I don't have the time to enjoy something new. Besides, when you're dealing with people so filthy rich, that they just end up plain filthy, you need the good old Marquis sound advice.
La blessure se trouvant sans aucune sorte de conséquence.
The wound being without any consequence. Of course, it's folky to think that things have no consequence with everything actually does. Briar Realty Corporation's Lexborn branch isn't too far off from the city center, just a few blocks away, and I can easily eat and walk. I'd rather use this time to rest before I go into a flurry of activity. No doubt there will be much to do once we get hands on the mansion.
Still a lot better than working on another condo, at least.
Yeah, true, Marianne, true. Surely, no matter how much BRC, Briar Realty Corporation, and the old owners want to put the restoration and preservation of this place, any big repairs would be superficial at most. I'm quite certain that in their haste to sell the property, they did a rush job. It isn't an infrequent thing to do despite of how it is frowned upon. There will be a lot of certain issues that I will need to weed out, and I have to make sure I find every single one of them, especially the more serious damages. Structural integrity is definitely on top of the list we will have to consider. The building might look certain, but it is centuries old. That alone will likely pose a few problems here and there, but put limitations on what we can do. Besides, despite of how much I detest these rich snobs, they can pay rather handsomely, so long as I do an excellent job and do more than necessary. Those two things always made sure the referrals keep coming. I don't even have to hunt down projects for myself. When I go down up to BRC's, Briar Realty Corp's office, I can't help but stop and stare when I enter the building. With the lunch hour closing, employees should have been back already, if they still aren't filtering through the doors. I get that it's a Saturday, but people probably feel tired and lazy to be working on a weekend. But they're still on the clock and not bumming about wasting company time on extended lunch breaks and cigarette sessions. The office is spacious as it is with these big corporations. There's a lot more empty chairs than there are actual people working at their desks. It reminds me far too much of my last day at Porzik Ova Projects during the massive layoffs due to the Irish economic crisis. But it isn't just that, though. Everything is as quiet as a grave, but if these people are merely ghosts... Speaking of ghosts, Santos comes in through the door looking as if he's just seen one. He looks at me wide-eyed like a deer caught in the headlights, ready to bolt at any moment. I'd ask out of concern, but I feel it's not my position to do so. What if it's something personal? I'd simply be overstepping my boundaries. Really, it's none of my business.
I presume that Miss Cooper told you why I'm here, Miss Santos?
Huh? Oh, yeah. Sorry, I just got back from lunch, you know?
I see a yin-yang thing back there. Isn't that what the Yang Yang? That's the company that made these games. Yeah.
But it won't take too long. Don't worry.
Of course it won't. This whole project has established itself to be a matter done in haste. I do hope it doesn't mean that people are being careless in their duties.
She flinches and looks like she doesn't quite know how to respond to that. Thankfully, instead of opening her mouth, she leads the way towards her station and goes to fetch the floor pans.
You know, we usually just email these things.
I prefer the real thing.
Not that you would know. You probably have your nose stuck in front of a smartphone when you're not working, and when you should be working playing those mindless, addictive games. I definitely wish Chris would stop playing that BECCA thingy during work hours, too.
I know what you mean. Digital painting is nice, but nothing beats the smell of real paint. Not that I go and smell paint like a crazy person, but, you know, the real thing is different.
Yeah. Wait, what?
Yes, nothing is quite like the real thing.
I just want to say that was not really... not that I just go around sniffing paint like a crazy person. I mean, I'd hope not. That would definitely be interesting, Isabella. Or Miss Santos. Isn't that right, Isabella? Jacobin style at its finest. It's a thing of beauty. Look at these gorgeous rooms. The delicate harmony between empty spaces. And speaking of empty spaces, there's something rather odd about these ones.
I feel a bit silly saying it out loud because I've never lived in a big house, let alone a mansion. But during the tour, I had the distinct impression that the rooms were bigger. Maybe the scale is wrong? It's not much of a problem. And it is an old house.
There have been little details here and there that I would have liked to address during the open house too. But it was all forgotten in the wake of Miss Santos's incident and the trouble with ownership. The wine cellar is going to be a problem. I shudder to think that sort of repairs they did to the place. There might have been things that were swept under the rug, pushed to the dark corner of the rooms and hidden away in barrels. Water damage could have been covered up. There have been floods due to heavy rains in West England just last year, after all, and if there are any sort of damage to the house's foundation, that's going to be a lot of work. I was not able to look at the attic as well. For all I know, the whole family of vermin could have made their nests there. Working with pest control is always the worst. The sheer size of the place was staggering, even if I did just say it was a lot smaller than I thought. I might just be biting off more than I could chew, but who doesn't like a good challenge? First things first, I'll have to.
So, do you want a coffee? The one from the staff room is pretty decent.
I bet, dog.
There's really no need. I'm sure you have rules against it.
Rules against bringing someone coffee? That's ridiculous. And even if there were regulations against it, nobody's really here to tell Sir John. I've already brought 2 mugs, and I'm not going to drink them on my own. Come on.
Isabella, you're gonna get into trouble. Miss Santos, you're gonna get into trouble. I have to stamp down my annoyance at being distracted. Seeing the girl, the young woman though, it looks like she has a lot in her mind. If babbling is her way of dealing with stray thoughts, I'm not really the one she should be babbling to. How should I respond? I give her time to speak up. But when she just stares, I clear my throat.
Yes? You have something to say?
As embarrassment creeps up on her face, I snatch one of the coffees from her and take a sip. Too hot.
Just thinking and speaking off the record, it must be fun what you do. You go to people's houses and you make them, well, pretty. You're sharing your art with them.
It's a little bit more complex than that. But if you put it that way, it is fun. I wouldn't have done it for 7 years if it wasn't a little bit fun, I guess.
These big clients always have paintings in their homes. Do you have a supplier for art pieces?
I didn't expect to hear such a question from her. Seeing how she handled herself yesterday, I didn't doubt then why she was assigned to an important sale like the Armagard Mansion, despite the little accident she had. Now she just looks too young, too nervous, and unsure of herself, although her enthusiasm must make up for that in spades. In fact, I wouldn't have believed it if she had introduced herself the way she is at the moment. why watching her now, she actually looks like she should still be in college. Yeah, that's Isabella for you. That's Isabella for you. That is 100% Isabella for you. Acts a bit like it too when I think about it. I thought she was a teen slumming it out in the mansion when I first saw her there lying on the ground. Surprise, surprise, she turned out to be one of the estate agents handling the property. I didn't even know what to make of that whole meltdown that happened with the strange document. If I were the client, I would have been very upset. She'd be in hot water for it.
The clients usually support artists of their own choice. If they don't, I'm always happy to refer those that I know.
That's cool.
They're very picky. I don't think a hobbyist will have an easy time getting their work sold.
Hey, I'll have you know I was a student of the fine arts.
And yet here you are, selling property. Maybe you weren't a very fine student of the arts.
Maybe I took that a bit too far. She bites her cheek and it looks like she's barely holding herself back.
It's not like I had a choice.
She mutters it under her breath. I barely even hear it. But the hurt is there. And it makes one wonder what brought it on. Although it is understandable. If her reason's what I think it is, very few people make it big in the art world. Yeah. And some do extreme things when they don't pass art school. I knew a guy in Germany. I could see why she'd be upset about it with that enthusiasm. I didn't have a choice when I left Ireland. It was that or years of unemployment, the recession that, and the toll it took in the construction industry was out of anyone's control. I don't know what choice she wasn't able to make, whether it was about her being in art school or something else. But the world isn't a fair place. And the sooner she accepts it, the better. Still, with that forlorn look on her face, I can't help but sigh. The girl reminds me far too much of myself when I was younger.
Well, if you're thinking of commissioning your paintings, I'll have to see your work first.
Oh, it's not... I didn't mean it like that. I don't have any paintings.
Really? You sounded a lot like you still did art or want to. Now I'm starting to worry that you might just like the smell of paint.
I'm not a paint huffer, sheesh. I just mean I don't make much anymore. I don't really have the time for it. The tools and materials aren't exactly cheap either.
Everything has a price. It sounds like you're making excuses for something you're presumably passionate about. If you really want to practice art, a little out of your wallet isn't much.
It's not that simple.
It's not. Life's simple. People just like to make it complex.
It's too simple. Hold on, I wish I could replay that very quickly.
Speaking off the record, I have some advice for you, kid. Either go for what you want, or stop thinking about it when you have something else. That is unless you enjoy making yourself miserable, then by all means.
You know, if you wanted to look at the floor plans without me bothering you, you could have just said so.
Would you have left me alone?
We'll never know now, will we?
We strained air cells in the room afterwards. It doesn't help that she doesn't immediately leave, as she has said, lingering awkwardly by the door with that downcast expression. It's good. There's more she means to say, perhaps even to defend herself in her choices in life. Or she expected me to dish out more of that advice. It's an awkward affair, and I choose to hightail out of the realty office as quick as I can. Though I'm able to keep myself professional at all times, it doesn't mean I like it. So she's already seen the letter. We know that. Bear Realty Corporations, or BRC as this girl likes to call it. Marianne. Anyways, guys, I'm the legend Thanos. I'm sorry, I'm cooked. Anyways, I'm gonna see you all next time, guys. I hope you all enjoyed the subscription to this, and I hope you all enjoyed this video. Bye bye. Oh yeah, wait, let me check first. Let me make sure I didn't. Alright, yeah, let's. Bye bye. That was a great. This was a great video, guys. Yeah. Alright. Yeah. Yeah. Bye. 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 Why aren't you leaving? Come on, leave, bro. Go. Go. What's good, bro? Go. What? Are you gone yet? No, you're still here. Do you want me to just sit here looking at you? Yeah, that's what I thought. It's time to go, okay? Alright, good.